Good Thursday evening, Northern Michigan. Thanks for joining us for Unscripted here on Up North Live. Today, feeling a little balmy outside, even a little bit of fog in some areas, and even melting going on. Joe, I have to say, it felt a little bit like a spring tease outside today, but I know we have a while to go until we get there.
Yeah, I think I was looking at the calendar, like 10 weeks, I think.
Okay.
For spring. Yeah. So for winter lovers, we still have a lot of time left, and we're going to get some snow this weekend. But if you like that little taste of spring, yeah, we had that out there today. In fact, we had a couple spots. We'll talk about this coming up in Maine weather, Melissa, that broke record highs today.
Wow.
So it was that warm. So we'll look at that. But as we get into the weekend, it is going to be a little colder, and with that will be some snow. So we have rain tonight and then some snow for the weekend. I'll look at all that a little later.
All right, thanks, Joe. A Thompsonville man in Benzie County being held on a $50,000 cash bond for allegedly threatening employees at Munson Medical Center in Traverse City. 23-year-old Austin Moore was arraigned today on a charge of false report or threat of terrorism. It's a felony that could mean 20 years in prison and a fine of up to $20,000 if Moore is convicted of the charge. He's also being charged as a habitual offender. Moore, who told the court that he's homeless, was arrested early Monday morning after police say he prompted a lockdown at Munson Medical Center. During his arraignment, his attorney said he was taken to the hospital because he was struggling with his mental health and was released after a mental health evaluation. Moore scheduled to be back in court for a preliminary hearing January 27th. Tonight, we are learning more about an arson investigation in Sheboygan. The fire Tuesday afternoon destroyed a building of 6 apartments on North Huron Street. Everyone inside the building was able to make it out unharmed. Sheboygan Fire Chief Don Daly said Michigan State Police fire investigators determined the fire started in the kitchen of one of the apartments. 22-year-old Haley Flanagan, who you see right there on your screen, was arrested and charged with arson. Police say Flanagan's from Arizona. She was staying with someone at the apartments. Flanagan's being held tonight on a $2 million bond and has been ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation. The Salvation Army and the Red Cross have both stepped in, helping people left homeless from that fire. A harm reduction program aimed at saving lives is expanding into Wexford County's Manton. District Health Department number 10 says the move is about meeting people where they are and making sure help is available when it's needed most. District Health Department number 10 is bringing its Hope Project mobile syringe service program to Manton. The program provides free, confidential harm reduction supplies and connects people to treatment and recovery resources. Health officials say lack of transportation, even limited access to care in rural areas often prevent people from getting the help they need. And now they're working with community partners to make sure life-saving resources are closer to home.
I love to help people, so it's always exciting to be able to find a location that is interested and supportive as I am in helping the community, helping people find resources, because in Northern Michigan, a lot of times resources are few and far between or pretty sparse.
The Hope Project will make weekly stops in Manton and Wexford County at Love in the Community as organizers work to reduce stigma and expand access to care. Exciting news tonight for students and young book lovers across Northern Michigan. The National Writers Series in Traverse City is welcoming back the Battle of the Books. Now, the Battle of the Books is a book-based quiz competition for 4th and 5th graders in Northern Michigan. Kids read incredible stories together and then experience heart-pounding moments in some friendly competition. Teams have a chance to win prizes for sportsmanship, team spirit, most creative, team name, and so much more. To tell us more about how the Battle of the Books works and how your little ones can get involved, we have Audrey Irontree, the Education Director with the National Writers Series. Audrey, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So I want to start, obviously, an exciting program for kids in 4th and 5th grade. How does the Battle of the Books work and who can get involved?
I think I may have lost you. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Can you hear me right now? I'm trying to see if we can hear Audrey. Audrey, can you, we just wanted to know how people can get involved with the Battle of the Books. Can you hear that question? I think we may have lost her. We will hopefully check back in with Audrey and talk more about the Battle of the Books. That, of course, again, is with the National Writers Series in Traverse City. We'll have a link posted. If you do have more information, simply go to our website, UpNorthLive.com. Moving along, though, to our question of the day, still sticking with the idea of books. Do you have a goal of how many books you'd like to read in 2026? Go to our Facebook fan page, Up North Live, and our website, UpNorthLive.com. Chime in. We'll check out those responses coming up later in the show. You can also scan that QR code on your screen. In other news tonight, Ford Motor Company's chief executive says America's labor market is in trouble. CEO Jim Farley says the company has thousands of high-paying mechanic jobs open and they can't get them filled. Autumn Pitcher explores the concern right now and what's driving this problem.
Ford Motor Company has 5,000 open auto technician position at its U.S. dealership. CEO Jim Farley calling it a sign that we're in trouble in our country. If positions don't get filled, auto expert and Northwood University professor Tim Nash says Americans could feel the consequences.
The price that people are paying to have their car serviced is a lot higher than it would be. It's simple supply and demand in action. We've got to get those people employed and in the market.
Farley says top-tier experienced technicians can earn up to $120,000 a year at Ford, and the company still can't hire. Farley calls it a serious gap between pay and interest. Nash says it stems from a lack of attention to skilled trades programs.
There's over 20,000 high schools that have automobile mechanics programs, but those programs have declined rather than increased over the last 20 years.
Farley says the high cost of tools, physically demanding work, and a lack of training are causing the talent pipeline to break down. Nash says training isn't keeping pace, with car designs and repairs getting more advanced each year.
It becomes challenging for that mechanic worker to be able to know all the complexities. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. When I was a kid growing up in Detroit, I would change oil filters, and there was a lot of work that you could read about and then do on your own. And today, everything's done with computers.
That was Autumn Pitcher reporting. Farley goes on to say that graduate mechanics often arrive underprepared for the most in-demand tasks, as many trade schools and community colleges in Michigan don't have the latest electric vehicles and diagnostic tools. He says it's why Ford is now investing in its own training initiatives and partnerships to rebuild the talent pipeline. Meantime, President Trump signed a bill into law known as the Great Lakes Fishery Research Reauthorization Act. This funding helps the Great Lakes Science Center with its mission to keep the Great Lakes healthy. Meteorologist Ethan Foreman explains how reducing the sea lamprey population is key to the cause.
The new year is here, and now that 2025 has wrapped up, the Great Lakes Fishery Commission had a busy year keeping sea lamprey population down. Greg McClinchy says that keeping these populations down is crucial.
They simply don't belong. And every sea lamprey will consume about 40 pounds of fish in its lifetime. And every female sea lamprey will have about 100,000 eggs. Excuse me. So that equals really bad, really fast if we don't control them.
The funds that they had received over the years have been very important to keep our Great Lakes safe.
The Great Lakes Fishery Commission and our partners have worked over the last number of years to bring those populations down, and there's been huge success. We run a program that is in all 5 Great Lakes across 8 states and a province in 2 countries.
Keeping sea lamprey out of the Great Lakes is important, but it is a danger to fish, not humans.
The real danger that they present is the danger to the fish. If every sea lamprey is going to eat 40 pounds of fish, we're talking of hundreds of millions and even billions of sea lamprey. If they were left uncontrolled, they would very quickly eliminate any kind of commercial or recreational fishery in the Great Lakes.
McClinchy says that the Great Lakes Fishery Commission takes out around 8 to 9 million sea lamprey each year. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, things took a dramatic turn.
In 2020 and 2021, the Fishery Commission needed to scale back its control. We actually ended up calling this the forbidden experiment. It's the thing that we always assumed would happen, we always said would happen, but we never had data. Well, we now have data.
McClinchy says that the COVID-19 pandemic skyrocketed the population by around 300%, but 2025 brought some good news.
In 2025, when we did this study, we were finally able to say that those numbers are coming back down again. It was something we expected, but it was obviously something that we are very, very pleased to see.
In northern Michigan, Ethan Foreman, UpNorthLive News.
All Great Lakes are seeing a decline in sea lamprey numbers, with populations close to pre-pandemic levels. A potential new youth ministry clubhouse striking some controversy tonight in Leelanau County. Our Cody Bear went to a Leland Township Planning Commission meeting last night. He tells us why the topic had more than 40 community members weighing in.
Our proactive, the charming Unique Village people travel from all over the world to experience will slowly disappear.
The worries from the community, not new ones.
Over time, it can negatively impact tourism visits.
A public hearing over a special land use application was scheduled for December 3rd, but so many community members showed that the township postponed it and moved it to the Northport Performing Arts Center auditorium.
We strongly oppose the special land use permit for 110 North Lake Street.
With Grand Traverse Distillery moving out of one of its homes, Leland Lighthouse, an affiliate of the international organization Youth for Christ, is hoping to turn the north portion of the building on North Lake Street into a clubhouse.
It would benefit everyone in the community for people that love Jesus.
Since the building is in a commercially zoned district, a special land use permit is needed.
This is not a popularity contest. It is a discussion solely about protecting the integrity of the zoning ordinance.
A line of community members spoke Wednesday, some folks in support.
I know that Youth for Christ will help mend relationships. It helps mend families. It is the epitome of inclusivity.
And others against making the exception in zoning, saying the club would take away an opportunity from a potential business in a tourist destination.
This special area was created for shop owners who need to trust that their hard work, the risk, the dreams, and the value of their investment will be protected by the enforcement of the zoning law.
In Leelanau County, Cody Bear, UpNorthLive News.
The Planning Commission will now talk about the zoning ordinance with township staff and make a decision at a later meeting. Also of note, Leland Township Planning Commission Chairman Ross Saderwhite announced he is stepping down. He cited the reason being his work schedule with family obligations and travel. How they'll fill that role is another discussion township officials will now need to have. All right, stay right here. Temperatures balming out there right now across northern Michigan. A little bit of melting going on. Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix takes a look at that weather forecast coming up.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back to Up North Live's Unscripted for this Thursday evening. I've said it earlier, but it feels balmy outside today, almost a tease, making it feel like spring, but we're not there at all. Joe, I again, was just driving into work today, and I'm like, oh, everything's melting. Huh.
Yeah. And, I should look up when the average high in spring is 50 degrees.
Okay, yeah.
Probably like April or something like that. But it did feel like that today. We are going to drop now tomorrow, where we'll see actually during the day the temperature is coming down some, and then some snow as we get into the weekend. But look how warm it was. Manistee, 53, 52 at Ludington. And we had 50s as far north as Petoskey and Charlevoix today. Now, you'll look at that in Traverse City there, it says 49. It actually did reach 50. So we did break 2 record highs today. Traverse City, 50 degrees. The old record was 49 for January 8th. So it's the warmest it's ever been on that date. That was back in 2008. And then Pellston reached 47 there in Emmett County. The old record at the airport there, 45. That was also set on the same day back in 2008. We have kind of a south or southeast wind ahead of approaching low pressure, which kept things mild today. There it is, kind of working into Iowa right now, that big red L, with a southerly flow out ahead of that. So we're really not going to drop much temperature-wise tonight. So what's coming in is mainly rain, and you can see the temperatures. It's almost 60 right now. Indianapolis, Chicago's in the mid-50s on the south end of Lake Michigan. Traverse City, still at 46 right now. There's radar, last several hours, and here comes our next system with rain starting to inch into northern Michigan now. Here's a little closer look at that. Rain coming down in Ludington, a steady rain there now into Big Rapids, rain starting at Manistee. Almost to Frankfort, so this rain will quickly lift in here this evening. And there it is on Stormcast. So by 10 o'clock, right around the late news tonight, rain, steady, locally heavy, maybe a little snow mixing in the UP. Then tomorrow morning, we stay kind of in the warm sector as this low passes right overhead into the UP tomorrow morning. So still in the morning, rain showers, and then a little snow will mix in at the tail end of this as temperatures start to drop right there. So even through around lunch hour tomorrow, we're looking at a little rain-snow mix. That ends, then quiet late tomorrow through Friday night. So here's our thoughts on rain. A little less there around Alpena, Rogers City, but look at Beaver Island, Newberry, Sault Ste. Marie, perhaps up to an inch of rain or more tonight. And that'll lead to issues with ponding of the water because, this time of the year with snow, the drains get clogged, things like that. So could run into a little bit of hydroplaning in spots. Then we'll get into the snow. So that system moves out of here. And then Saturday, we cool enough, another area of low pressure arrives. And, well, here's what happens. We get some snow Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and then early Sunday. But I don't think a lot of snow Sunday. I think this is going to move out pretty quickly Sunday, maybe even a little sunshine Sunday afternoon. But that snow Saturday afternoon and night, early Sunday, there's a kind of look at, the early look, I should say, preview of this, 3 to 5 inches in general for some spots. So that's what we're looking at over the weekend. So there it is, Saturday, upper 20s to upper 30s, snow arriving. And then Sunday, early day snow ends. Temperatures between 22 and 30 Sunday. So overnight, 33 to 43, rain locally heavy in spots, ponding of water possible. And then tomorrow, if you look at these temperatures, these will be in the morning. They're going to drop into the 30s. So this is a day tomorrow where temperatures will fall. So Grayling, you're not going to be at 51 all day. That'll be early in the morning. And then temperatures will drop. Rain showers giving way to a rain-snow mix. And then by mid-afternoon, all of that should be done with. And we'll have a dry evening tomorrow. And again, 40s to 50s to start the day, dropping in the afternoon. And there's our look ahead. Snow arriving on Saturday, ending Sunday. And then next week, colder weather returns on Wednesday. Yeah, 16 and 25. So kind of up and down here with temperatures, Melissa.
Yeah, we're going to feel that difference when that happens. All right, thanks, Joe. Coming up, sports director Harrison Beebe gives us a closer look into what goes into making a 24-team hockey showcase a reality here in Northern Michigan. We'll hear from the head coach of the Bay Reps who help host this event every January. Stay with us. Welcome back to Unscripted. Sports director Harrison Beebe joins us now. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, Melissa. And yeah, we're going to get talking about some hockey as you teased to the viewers before that commercial break. A pretty cool event actually starting right now. The first game's going on right now. A wave of games at Center Ice Arena in Traverse City for hockey over the 2 rinks they have from now until Saturday night. There's going to be 12 games tomorrow, 10 games on Saturday. It's a really cool signature showcase that's been going on every year since 2012. Sans the COVID year, I believe they didn't have it that year. But yeah, a really cool experience to get 24 of the best high school hockey programs from North and South. They call it the North-South Showcase for a reason, because they get teams from the Upper Peninsula, teams from the Detroit area. We cover all grounds as far as the state of Michigan is concerned, and we cover more about how the tournament comes about in our conversation with Bay Reps head coach Mike Matucci. The Bay Reps, of course, the host team for the event. That's part of this week's Jimmy John's Sports Corner.
The following segment is sponsored by Jimmy John's of Traverse City.
This tournament's grown quite a bit over the years. It's gotten a lot of publicity also. This year is probably one of the better years. We've got some of the best teams in the state coming this year, so it's going to be very competitive. My assistant coaches, Ryan Fedorenchuk and Eric Vidian, do a really good job of matching up the teams. So we have some good games, and it's going to be a good weekend. Some of the teams we have coming up this year that haven't come in years past. Heartland's going to be here. Trenton's coming every year. Granville's here. Jeffers is coming this year. Marquette, Forest Hills Central, Escanaba. Those are some of the better teams that are coming, and it's going to be very competitive.
And knowing this event is now named after him, what do you think, Rick Denowith, if he was here with all of us today, what do you think he'd say about the growth and the success of this event?
He loved hockey. He loved the competition. He just loved to be at the rink, and he had a saying, it's a good day to play hockey today. And, Rick is just a good human being. I know he'd be at the rink. He'd be the first one to volunteer. He'd be the first one at the rink and the last one to leave.
Now, Melissa, just like all the teams, I'll be pretty busy at Center Ice as well. We got Alpena, Big Rapids, the Reps, Traverse City Central, and Traverse City West, all playing games tomorrow between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. And I'll find a way to get highlights of all 5 of those games for us here on UpNorthLive.
You're a busy guy, Harrison, but you always pull through. Thanks.
I try.
All right, coming up, we will take a look at the live results for our question of the day. Remember to check out our Facebook page, Up North Live, and our website, upnorthlive.com. We'll be right back.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Taking a look at our question of the day for Unscripted. Do you have a goal of how many books you'd like to read in 2026? You can see right there, 58% no, 42% yes. And we have some people who actually chimed in. Marianne says no, less than last year. I read 34 last year, usually read 32 to 36 every year. Nice job, Marianne. Lisa says 24. Marie, 30 books. And Mary says at least 12. Nice job, ladies. Keep on reading those books. Again, you can go to our Facebook page, Up North Live, and our website, UpNorthLive.com. Let us know if you do have a goal to read a certain amount of books for 2026. Thanks for tuning in tonight for Unscripted. We hope you'll join us later for Up North Live News at 11. Have a fabulous night.